Hey guys, hope you've had a great day, and we're glad you're here to join us for one of our many messages today. And we're picking back up in Genesis chapter 37. Give you just a little quick context if you haven't seen the last few days, although I really recommend you go back and check them out so you kind of see the entirety of this account and what's happening here. Joseph has been caught by his brothers. He's been thrown in what amounts to an empty well, and they were planning to kill him. They decided instead to sell him to some Ishmaelite traders. So they've now sold their brother into slavery, and he's on his way to Egypt. And that's where verse 29 picks up. Reuben, who had kind of tried to do the right thing. Reuben was the oldest, and whatever happened to Joseph, if something came out about this, Reuben would be the one held responsible. So Joseph, something happening to him, it ever is traced back to the boys, Jacob's going to have Reuben's head on a platter. So I think that plays into part of it. Another part was he wanted to win back his father's favor, which he had lost because of some things he had done. But he comes up in verse 29, he says, when Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes, which is a sign of mourning in that culture. I'm glad we don't have that sign. I got a lot of shirts that I like. I don't really want to be tearing them up. Verse 30, he went back to his brothers and said, the boy isn't here. Where can I turn now? Then he got Joseph's robe. Then they got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in the blood. They took the ornate robe back to their father and said, we found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe. Not examine it to see if it's your brother's robe or our brother's robe. Your son. They were almost in this statement kind of distancing themselves from their own family member here. It kind of shows you the contempt that they had for Joseph. And it was overblown. Look, I agree with some of the earlier parts of this chapter that Joseph shouldn't have said some of the things he said. Some of the dreams and things that God was giving him, he probably should have kept to themselves. But God uses even those things for His glory, for His good, and to, at the end of the day, save this family, to save the covenant family. So, your son's robe. Verse 33, he recognized it and said, it is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. And there were all kinds of animals in Israel at this time that aren't there today. You know, we know that there were lions and things like that that lived in this area. There would have been, wolves and those types of animals. So there were predators that could have killed a person, especially a younger person traveling by themselves. It very easily could have happened. Verse 34, then Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. No, he said, I will continue to mourn until I join my son in the grave. So his father wept for him. Now, some of the sad irony here is that Jacob is deceived by his sons, and he's the one that deceived his father. They took and dipped this ornate robe in the coat of many colors, as we oftentimes call it, into the goat's blood. Jacob used a dish of goat meat to confuse and manipulate his father. So there's some irony here that you see that the sins of the father against his father is now being put back upon him. So this is generational. These sons are following the footsteps of their father. They grew up in a family full of deceit and manipulation and battles between wives and the children. And it's just continuing to leak over. It's continuing to go down this road. It's a dark time. But honesty, love, forgiveness, those are the things this family needed. And when we get to the end of the book, we're going to find some of that. But not today. We'll see you soon.